Are you looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football and basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/BlueWire and use code BlueWire. That's code BlueWire at prizepicks.com/BlueWire for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Support for this podcast comes from Frito-Lay and the 2023 Snack Bracket Championship. The Frito-Lay Snack-It Challenge is underway, and fans are voting on their favorite snacks to crown champion. We're talking about prime-time matchups between the best 64 snacks in the land. Will Ruffles Ridges reign supreme? Can Doritos defend their dynasty? Or will Smart Food use their smarts for a surprise upset? Only you can decide. Get in on all the action for a chance to win up to $1,000 or a year's worth of snacks. Let your snacks be heard. Just go to fritolaysnacket.sbnation.com to vote and enter for a chance to win. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends April 3rd, 2023. Void where prohibited. Year's worth of snacks awarded in the form of 52 coupons, each good for 1 bag of chips. See official rules at fritolaysnacket.sbnation.com.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Mavs Moneyball's Mavs Party. Thank goodness the Dallas Mavericks finally beat the New York Knicks, which I don't feel has happened since the Reagan administration, following a really kind of ugly first half where the Mavericks looked, I don't know how the Mavericks have looked for a significant portion of this season. They came out and kicked the shit out of the Knicks in the third quarter, led by Tim Hardaway catching fire from 3 for the first time since I can remember. Feels like that might have been his best quarter of basketball since like game 3 against the Clippers, when he was shooting like those first 3 games, we shot like 1,000,000,000%. Well, I had a lot of fun though. It was nice to just watch. Luka played under 30 minutes. I don't remember the last time that happened. And what else do we have going? Yeah, why don't you guys come on up here and we'll talk about the game. And then we'll get on with our Saturday afternoon. We hopefully don't have too much to talk about here. All right, coming up first, we have Jordan. Jordan, it's a daytime appearance from you. Congratulations. Welcome to the show. What's up?
Hey, not much. I just want to say that I went to the bathroom during the third quarter, and I came back, and I was like, it was kind of the reverse of, I don't know if you've seen that Community meme where, like, Troy comes back in and, like, everything's on fire. It was like the opposite of that. It was weird. So I was pleasantly surprised. I would say that even in the best shooting game that we've had almost ever, Reggie Bullock still airballed 3 of them. So that was fun to watch. So I'm still worried about Reggie. Even though it's December, he's still struck.
Yeah, well, I mean, so the Reggie thing's interesting. Historically, he warms up in December. Last year, he didn't warm up till end of January. So he did hit some threes. So that was nice. But then again, who didn't hit a 3 on the Mavericks, apparently? I don't know. It's hard to really know what to take away from this game, because had the Mavericks lost, I sort of feel like this was a coaching referendum on either team. Like Tibbs should probably be gone from New York. He's a mess. And if the Mavericks came out looking lethargic again, I think that would have been kind of, okay, at what point do we start having an actual conversation regarding what did we do here what do you do here from Jason Kidd? But they hit shots, and hitting shots is nice. So, all right, let me see here. What else do you got for us?
Oh, I was just going to say that I do think that we didn't learn very much. I still feel like we did make all the same mistakes. The defense still looks really bad, even though the Knicks didn't make us pay.
They tightened up in the third. They did look more connected when they're hitting shots, and that sort of thing just tends to drive a coach crazy.
Yeah, because if they would just defend, then it would help on the offensive end. Because then they're not going against a set defense.
Right.
And I am really worried. We had a little mini DM exchange about Dorian. I'm really worried about his defense because he has really looked uninterested. And I've been, Dorian's biggest fan. And I'm just really confused what's going on with him just really playing lazy defense. And so that's really frustrating and worrying.
Yeah.
So I probably shouldn't be complaining. Yeah. I probably shouldn't be complaining and win. Yeah, it's very rough, but he did have that really great rebound where it was like 4 Knicks and he out-rebounded all of them. And then he had a few defensive plays in the third, but man, at the beginning of the game, I was like, are we in this again? But yeah, I probably shouldn't be complaining. So we should probably have somebody who is a little bit more excited after this.
They've lost so many ugly games where it's just like sometimes you don't know what to do when they actually have a nice performance to where it's like, okay, well, did they fix any of their problems? And the answer is no.
True.
That's okay.
True. I will say I was happy with the Hardy minutes. So shout out to him.
Yeah. Yeah. And we might have had more, somebody sent me this message where it's just like, if we want to criticize kids coaching, it's like, what are we doing running plays where Frank Ntilikina is taking sweeping hook shots from the baseline? But Frank, but Hardy did get some points, which was nice.
And he was a good passer. Theo didn't make any of them, but he was a good passer.
Well, the Hardy thing is so fascinating to me because, look, I've been to games. I've watched him play live 6 times now. 6 is still not an adequate thing to get a good feel for somebody's game, but I will say that, I like seeing him play in the NBA because it's a good comparison point. Even if he's playing, end of bench guys, they're still better than G League guys. And one thing you notice is that he does not have as much room to shoot, full stop. Because NBA guys are bigger, they close the gap better. But he still took good shots. He didn't do anything that drove me nuts. He's strong. He's still very lean. It's going to take him a while to muscle up. But I like seeing him. He didn't do anything that drove me nuts. And that's about all I can ask for. I don't want him to go out there. I don't expect him to go out there and pour in buckets. But if he's going to play 10 minutes, and I don't even know how many shot attempts he had, I like the kind of shots he got. They didn't feel forced. And that's about all I can ask for.
Yeah. Yeah. I was really pleasantly surprised with his minutes. And I was someone who was high on Hardy, especially for the Mavs before the draft. So, yeah. Anyway, I'll let other people talk, but I just wanted to hop on since it's actually not 2:00 in the morning or later.
That's right. All right. Talk soon, buddy. Chris in the chat asked, did Josh Green do anything? Not really. Nothing bad though either. Everybody had, interesting. He attacked the basket real well. I thought he missed 2 opportunities to dunk the shit out of the ball and instead went to loopy layups. But, that's a minor criticism in the bigger picture. His defense is still up there. I'm liking what I see. He fouls too much. Somebody pointed that out to me, and now I can't unsee it. But I didn't really have any issues with Josh Green today. Really, just a performance you can walk away from. I'm going to be happy about. All right, let's go. Oh, Chris, there you are in the chat. You're probably asking us. How you doing, Chris? Welcome to the show. Pull out from the chat, and then there's the mute button on the bottom when you're on the main screen.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
I can.
Thanks for joining.
I'm at work, just sitting here. I'm off in 30 minutes, but I didn't watch the game because I thought it was going to be another loss. But I'm glad that Tim Hardaway is finally getting into his groove. But I mean, when are we going to get some more or anything from Bullock? I mean, he's just starting to be a broken record with Bullock, man.
Well, we're getting
a little bit of feedback on here. Could you mute when I'm talking?
Sorry.
All right, is that better?
Let me see. No,
it's a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, could you hit mute button? It's down there next to speaker request when you're on the main page. Sorry, it's just a feedback thing. Bullock, I think, is similar to Timmy in that they're just gonna make him play through it. Now, is it the difference between 20 minutes and 30 minutes some games? I hope so. There's enough minutes for Tim, Josh, and Bullock to go around, in my opinion.
All right, and I had another question. What do you really feel like with the what's his name? The new addition that we got. They said his knees are not good at all. That's not a good sign. Do you think he'll even play? Kemba Walker, do you think he'll play any meaningful minutes next week, or do you think he's just here for a chill?
It's a very good question, Chris. I think he will play meaningful minutes until he can't. Now, we're not talking a ton. The Mavericks need like 15 a game. The question for me is, can Kemba give you 40-plus games? And that, I think the answer to that is no. The Knicks had to shut him down. If you go look at game logs, he actually played quite well once he got into the groove with the Knicks last year, started the season, and then things just went totally sideways. He was only playing about 20, 25 minutes, which is more than he'll play in Dallas. But whatever pain was going on with his knees was drastically affecting his game. So pain management is really difficult to predict because everybody's different. And if you can play through the pain, sure. But this is something with him that's not getting any better. So I'm wondering if it's just sort of a stopgap measure until the Mavericks can try to find to do something different. He is a heck of a player when he's on, though. He's a much, like I've been arguing with my friend Dwight on Twitter about this for like 2 weeks. But, Dragic plays a lot, but Dragic is 36 and older. But Kemba has much higher highs than Dragic. That's kind of hard to argue. So.
All right, and I have one last thing, and I'll let somebody go. In the last couple of weeks, I've noticed when Dinwiddie is playing, I feel like they're using him the wrong way. Like, I feel like it's like he should be in the role he was last year because to me, he is not a true point guard at all. And even when he's playing point guard, he has trouble getting others involved. And to me, it's atrocious when he's playing point guard.
I think there's something to that in that when he's hitting 50% of his threes and attacking well off drives, we don't really care. But if he's not, if he's short, if he's, missing open passes, it's pretty frustrating. But this is this was the whole thing when Brunson left. Like, how did that happen? Well, thank you for joining, Chris. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day once you get off work. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks, man. Have a good day. All right.
All right. Love it. Calling in when you're at work. That's dedication. Micah, what's up, buddy? Give Micah 1 second to figure out the mute.
What's going on, Kirk? Can you hear me?
I can. Welcome back.
Man, this is wild, man. Because I had to leave I'm rewatching that half because I had to leave my house to run an errand real quick. And before I was about to head back home, I looked at my phone and I was like, holy crap, what happened?
It was the kind of game where I didn't even notice Luka scoring 19 in the third quarter because I was so focused on watching what Hardaway was doing. And it was nuts. It was fun.
Right. Yeah. It's nice for these to be fun every now and then instead of a chore.
Right.
It's just I basically see I thought it was funny. Josh put it up and on a graphic where it says, "Did the Mavs role players hit their open shots that Luka gave them?" Yes, they look like total contenders. No, they look like a lottery team.
That's really all it is. It's crazy.
It is. That's always going to be a problem. At the end of the day, is hey, I'm glad it's a win, but you still got to accept the fact that our offense outside of Luka is so one-dimensional. To where these sometimes it looks like you're watching 50s basketball when all they do is swing it around the perimeter 100 times.
Or somebody like Spencer just dribbling the crap out of it. There's very little action. There's very little set plays. It's a read and react offense where only one person on the floor seems capable of reading and reacting. I don't like it. They need to have – if Luka's not in the game, I really think they need to be running more set plays.
Right. It's just – it's hard to run sets with people that are just so limited as far as what they can do. And I think, is what happens is I've always said the worst thing you can have on a roster is redundancy. And because you become so predictable of how everything is going to run. And is having one of these 3-and-D guys great to have on your team? Absolutely. You need one to win. Is having 6 or 7 of them a good idea? Absolutely not.
Well, I think we need as many as we can get, but the problem is none of these guys have any sort of we're not talking full on like Paul George level stuff, but it feels, how comfortable are you? Go through the list of Mavericks on the team. When anyone puts the ball on the floor, I get comfortable when Luka does it, when Spencer does it, when Josh Green does it. And then after that, it's a oh no feeling when Kenny dribbles.
Right. Hey, it's funny. I didn't get the chance. I'm on Hoop Spaces a lot, and I was listening to a Nets fan after we lost to Detroit, and she is saying, "Well, I don't know. I don't watch that many Mavericks games." I was like, "Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do." The only difference is when you're watching Mavericks games, they're wearing black and white uniforms. So, because it's so crazy. And when the more and more I think about it, our team is built identical to theirs in so many forms and fashions, and pretty much got the same outcomes and records and all of that. If you go top to it's pretty much a generational superstar. Sometimes may or may not go off, and got this good defensive player, but not going to give you much in anything else. And the rest is 3-point specialist. It's crazy, but
yeah. Well, thanks for hopping in again.
Oh yeah, anytime, Kirk.
All right. Hope to see you next game Monday night. Talk soon.
All right.
Let's go next with Adrian. Welcome, Adrian. How you doing?
Hi, what's going on? Can you hear me well?
Well, I can. Thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for bringing me back. Okay, so what did I want to say? So firstly, at halftime, I was really sure this was going to be a Mavs therapy call. That first half was embarrassing, including Luka. It was really, really hard to watch. I don't know, at times, this game, sometimes they're joyless to watch. You're supposed to be watching something fun, especially when you have Luka, and all you see is people, guys breaking shots. But good to see Hardaway at least, finding his groove. It's not just the fact that he's making shots, but even when he misses, it's not as badly as it used to be up until 2 games ago. So that's really promising. About Green, I don't fully agree with everyone here. I mean, with some of you guys here, I think he's playing really well. Okay, he's not Scottie Pippen by any means, but at times it seems like he's the only guy who actually gives a shit,
No, his energy level is always high, and they need that this year. I think sometimes it works against him, but there are just games where they look like they are disinterested.
Exactly. Even and look at the first one at times. In the first half, how many times did we see him give up on defense after a turnover? I mean, that's becoming a Luka special by now. But anyway, we cannot complain much about him. One thing I've noticed about Luka, let me know if you agree. For some reason, he seems to have stopped shooting floaters. I remember Luka in year 1, year 2, he was a floater god, and suddenly he's not using that shot anymore. I don't know if it's because he prefers to, just bully people down in the post, but I don't know. I thought that was a very effective part of his game.
That would be my guess because he picks up more foul, he draws more fouls that way. I also think it's a matter of what teams will give to him because I think given enough time, you will see teams eventually try to stop him from getting the rim, where he's had games like that, where he shoots a lot of mid-range stuff. Maybe he'll go back to it. Every time Luka goes away from things for really long stretches, and then he just moves back out. Like, he has every move in the repertoire. So we'll see with him. But I do remember early in his rookie year where he would get a lot of floaters up past people, like that 8-foot range where he just kind of throws it up. But now he just does so many post moves where he gets down, he backs people down, and there's drop steps and up and unders and that sort of thing where he doesn't really need to.
Yeah, that's right. And I agree with what you said. It was crazy to see Luka go from, I think it was 10, 11 points to 30. It happened in the blink of an eye, yeah? Just while Hardaway was, making all those threes. So,
that's right.
Yeah, hopefully we can start a streak. I'm not very optimistic.
Have you looked at who they play next? Because the streak I don't think is coming.
Yeah, we're playing the Suns on Monday, aren't we?
Suns, Denver, Milwaukee.
Oh, fuck me.
I know, it's tough, man. NBA's a beast. All right,
well, these are the kind of games when Luka shows up. Yeah, no, thank you very much. Bye.
All right, bye.
Today's episode is brought to you by Cars.com. With over 2 million vehicles and 50,000 more added every day, Cars.com will match you with the perfect car for you, your budget, your life, your style. And if you're ready to say goodbye to your current car, Cars.com will get you an instant offer to cash it in. Just start by entering your license plate and get matched with a local dealer who will write you the check. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, just go to Cars.com. It's magical.
Let's see here who we got. My man Drew. Welcome back, Drew. What's up?
Sure. Well, I leave the country and everything goes to hell.
Sure. And now you're back and they win. I like this.
Yeah, I just spent 10 days in the Caribbean on a boat, and I got back this morning, and there we go. So maybe that's a good sign. I don't know, but I look back at some of the games and stuff like that, and it was just like, man, I just, it's insane. And I just got a couple of things. One thing is we still didn't win a game that Luke hasn't scored 30 points because he got that 30
That's
point
true.
in the third quarter. Yeah, I saw that stat the other day. And I wanted to ask, Christian Wood didn't play. I didn't hear. What's the deal there?
He was sick, and it was the second game in a row he showed up on the injury report, only he played against Detroit and did not play against the Knicks. So makes me wonder
he's
if
10
it's
of 13 against Detroit.
What's that? Yeah, I mean, that Detroit game was horrendous. It was that.
Okay. I didn't see it, so I know we lost in overtime on Knicks. How do you lose to Detroit? I mean,
we got outboarded by like 30. It was awful.
And Luka even put up a 40-point triple-double, and still couldn't.
Yeah.
That's insane. But, Tim Hardaway all of a sudden a little bit rejuvenated. I guess I'm still not quite a fan. I just wish he would learn to, he's great when he's on, but I've just learned that when he's off, maybe not still shoot 20, 15 bad shots.
Right.
To give somebody else a chance, maybe he might be on, but, but it is what it is. But I still can't figure this team out. I've been kind of beating my head against the wall trying to figure this team out.
Well, I don't mean this in a negative way, but the way I feel about Hardaway right now is the way we started to feel about Kristaps Porzingis, in the sense of his contract is such an albatross. Mm-hmm. It really is, relatively speaking. And I can't help but wonder that, therefore, I've said this on lots of shows, I think they're showcasing him to try to figure out something. Only he's really only played good for 2 games now. So what are you trying to show? He had a horrendous shooting streak. I said this earlier, where he basically shot well against the Clippers in Game 3. The Mavs lost that game, 2021 playoffs, and then didn't play good again for a year and a half. Like, I don't know what to do with that.
No, he was like shooting 20% or some shit like that. It was, it was horrendous. Yeah. No, I know, but like you say, that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Like you say, is maybe showcasing him for a trade, because we're gonna need a trade at some point to shake things up. I'm afraid.
Well, thanks for coming in, Drew.
All right, thanks, Kirk. Appreciate it.
I want to go to the Caribbean islands for 10 days. That sounds great. Hezron, welcome to the show.
Oh, Kirk, you wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm in Sydney, Australia. You wake up at 4:30 in the morning, you watch that first half, you think, what the hell have I done wrong? And then you watch the second half, a lot of fun. Like you said at the beginning, it was a lot of fun in that third quarter. Great to see the boys lock in defensively. Seeing the first half, it was just really poor energy, and then seeing the boys lock in, it made it worthwhile. Is it beer o'clock? No, it's 7:30 at the moment, but you know what? It feels good to actually get a win, especially in New York. Maybe the KP curse is over. It just feels good to get a win, man.
Did I hear you say you're in Australia?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're 2% of my downloads come from Australia, and every time the Australian folks come on the show, it's a big hit because y'all have a wonderful tendency of cutting through all the bullshit and saying the truth, and I'm a huge fan of this. Well, I hope you do treat yourself to a beer at some point today, then, because I think we've earned it.
Most definitely. Just a couple of things. It was good to see Luka actually get that stat line in less than 30 minutes. And it didn't even seem like a drain or anything like that. It seemed like it just came naturally. And obviously hitting shots is a massive thing. And Spence getting, even his stat line, 17, 9, and 9. I was like, what the hell? Where did these assists come from?
That's pretty amazing. Where the hell? Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. And it comes down to, I just wanted to ask, do you feel at this point, look, I'm loving what Spencer's doing in the starting lineup. And slowly him and Timmy would probably start figuring things out. But do you feel that maybe we look at shifting Spence to the bench back in that six-man role? Look, he's killing it. And whether someone else offers something else, like defensively, what are your thoughts going ahead and stuff like that?
The lineup stuff is really weird to me. It's really something. I don't have good feel for it because I also get mad at some of the stuff kids trying where it's like we have a Davis Bertans at center lineup. What is happening there? I guess it's just the kind of throw shit against the wall portion of the season and hope something sticks. Spencer does get to lead the bench unit in the second quarter after Luka steps out. I tend to agree. Our very first caller, Jordan, popped up on stage. Or maybe it was one of the first few callers noted that he doesn't think that that Spencer's really a true point guard. I just agree. He's a scoring guard. That he gets assists is nice, but I feel like he sort of passes as a measure of resort versus running an offense. But that also might be kind of a criticism of how I feel about the offense, where it's like if Luka's off the floor, they tend to run the same stuff, only Luka's not on the floor. And Luka's what makes the other stuff work.
Yeah, it just seems like it seems like we've just got a bunch of pseudo ball handlers or playmakers in both Spence and Green, and then that it's like try figure out while Luka's off the floor. It just seems like that more often than not. I did see something where they felt that Frank was going to be the third ball handler into the season, and I love the bloke, but I just think he's better off as I think he's got his niche as a 3-and-D guy more than anything. I mean, some of the entry passes he did last season, he couldn't hit the ocean if he fell off the boat. Seriously, it was that bad. But it's good to see guys stepping up when we need it, whether guys are driving up their trade value as it seems to be the craze all of a sudden. That's another conversation. But like I said, it's just good to wake up that early in the morning and see a good win. But yeah, that's all from me, man. But just want to give a shout out. Love your work as well, man. It's good to see people on board as well. Hope you're enjoying your afternoon over there, mate.
Thanks so much. Appreciate you joining. Have a good day.
Thanks.
All right. Let's go with Mr. Dang. What's happening? Give Doe a second to come out of the chat here. See what's going on. We have some good post-game quotes here.
Hey, Kirk.
From Jason Kidd. What's going on, Doe?
Finally get to celebrate a victory. I think, we hit the shots, but what really helped us in that third quarter was the defensive energy level, and it kind of helps to put the pressure on the right people. We started double teaming, Randall, and then we started pestering Brunson a whole lot more with our size and doubling him up when he turned, his back to us, which really helped, so it was really nice to see. But I'm still kind of scared that this is just an outlier against a 500 team.
Oh, the rest of December is going to suck.
Oh, man.
Everybody just kind of prepare yourself for that. The schedule's brutal. The schedule is brutal.
is brutal. We're going to really see who we are, I think, in this stretch right now.
I think over the big picture, if we're still at 500 in the new year with how they played, then I think we should probably be happy. I'm not going to be happy. Let's just be honest. But like a big picture takeaway, if they're, 18-18 or whatever it is, whatever the record would be, whenever, I'd be happy with that. But I don't think that won't cut it for us because we all live game to game.
That is true. But the same regard, I just want to see some progress, I mean, it's more not just about wins and losses. It's about who you lose against and the kind of effort,
But the problem is, though, with that is because of how they play, they really can only play one way. Progress comes in, did they hit shots or not? And I don't know how you measure that as like real honest to goodness process or progress, because Tim is hitting shots that he's been getting for a year, just hitting them now. And it's been 2 games. If he goes back cold, are we going to be pissed off? Yes, but it's not going to be really surprising. Like with the way the roster's built, I don't really see any real, like, the only real growth people can look for, I think, is Josh Green to an extent. But like, what does that really mean? Because Green at this point in his career is he's not going to be a high volume shooter scorer type. He still fouls a lot on defense, which is why Kid yanked him from that game the other day. But beyond that, it's like we kind of know who everybody is. Like, I need to see Dorian look alive, but that might not happen for another 15 games.
Yeah, I'd like to see more Wood, to see, are we going to sign him? Is he worth what we need to move on to? Are we going to give him a little more trade value? What are we going to do with him,
Right.
So, I mean, there are questions still that need to be resolved, and the whole part of that, can I trust Kid enough to be that mad scientist, I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to savor this win because it's going to be brutal, like you said.
I think that's the right approach. Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
talk
you
soon.
doing this, Kurt. Bye.
Yep. We do got to enjoy these ones. All right, let's go to Mr. Pearson. Welcome back to the show. What are you thinking today?
Well, I'm glad it's a win. I think they played pretty good, and I typically like watching the games and listening to them as well on League Pass because Cooperstein and Brad Davis, they do a super job calling the games, and I think they're pretty objective about, they try to be objective about calling the games. And one thing they pointed out is throughout the second half is Dallas just played good defense, and I noticed that along with the 3-point shooting, they just focus in. We're getting really good rebounds. They wasn't letting the Knicks get a lot of.
First time I've seen that in a while.
Yeah, especially even if you look at the box score, the offensive rebounds, I believe it was Tim had 8 rebounds, and a couple of those, maybe 6 of them were offensive. So, that's really good. But just keeping them guys keeping the Knicks off of the rebounds is really good because that's always been one of the Mavericks' Achilles heels.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just glad to not be mad the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah, but you know what? To me, I'm just like Dallas is, they're the Mavericks, and I was just putting something in the chat that, all time Dallas is a 500 team, and that's just kind of who they are. And until they really just learn how to bring in, they need a winning culture. You know what I mean? And one thing that I noticed while San Antonio was beating the brakes off of us all those years is when Pop called a timeout, he wasn't resting players to, congratulate the starters for playing good. He was calling timeout to tell them guys, hey, put your foot on their throat. Don't let up. So whenever they beat us, they're beating us by 30 and 40 points. Same thing with Golden State. When they're beating people, they're beating the brakes off of them. And Dallas need players with, that Kobe mentality that, let's go out there and not hate them, but, let's go out there and destroy these guys. And they just don't have that killer instinct culture.
Yeah. That's been their biggest, kind of Achilles heel in terms of, if you're talking about overarching stuff, they just let teams back in it. I mean, if they'd won probably 2 more of these games that they've thrown away, I think the temperature around the team would be way different. But we're all really kind of heated and on edge because they've lost so many games in really horrifying fashion.
And it seems like even when they have a lead or even when they're losing a lead, they play at the same pace. I mean, it's no initiative to the task. It's like like San Antonio again. No matter who they're putting in, they're running. They're trying to, they're trying to destroy teams. They're trying to come back and destroy teams. They're trying to keep a lead and destroy teams. Dallas, they play at the same pace. When they lose a lead, they play at the same pace. When they keep a lead, they play at the same pace. It's not really any type of initiative for them to really, go out there and make it's not you don't see really a lot of statement wins. Even this one wasn't a statement win. They just so happened to hit a lot of threes.
Yeah.
I don't think other teams are just like, okay, here comes the Mavericks. Like, think of Sacramento. They beat them like 6 games in a row, 16. They beat them a lot of games in a row, but those were statement wins. Like, even though you're Dallas, when we come to Sacramento, we come to Dallas, we're going to beat you. Those were statement wins. Dallas they don't give off that type of energy.
Yeah. No, and when they get up big, a lot of times what they do is they play what I keep referring to as like a prevent offense, where they look to soak up the clock, and they're not really – and then you get a lot of these shots in the last 5 seconds, and they're not great looks. They're not within any of the flow. I think what Nekias Duncan last year would always refer to it as the blender, and they just would turn off the blender, and it drives me nuts. But maybe they can get back into it. I don't know if it's going to be in the calendar year right now. I've mentioned that a couple of times this show, but I'm going to enjoy this one, and then hope that the Mavericks can somehow play really well against Phoenix, because I like beating Phoenix.
Yeah, and I don't know if these guys still have that. I don't know if the locker room still has that feeling from whenever Phoenix just random guys off the court in the playoffs. But hopefully they look at Phoenix the same way that the fans look at Phoenix and Miami. So, thanks, Kirk, man. You have a good day.
Sure. In the chat, Adrian notes that this is sort of how Luka grew up playing in terms of milking the clock. But the challenge that the Mavericks, particularly without Brunson, is if you're not, you can't eat up clock, because I'm about to say something a little. Everybody's asshole tightens up at the end of the shot clock. No other way around it. And the Mavericks don't really have those big time shot makers, at least right now in this point in the season. That's where the prevent offense, their fourth quarter numbers on the year were atrocious. A game like today is really going to help things. I'll tell you that much. Ewan, what's up, buddy?
Hey, good afternoon, Mr. Anderson.
You get to enjoy being in New York and lording your Mavs fandom over your friends, I hope.
Yeah, man. They hit me up before the game how's it looking today, Luka versus Brunson? I'm like, yeah, Luka's going to have a good game, but, the way it's been shaping out, the Knicks looking like they're the better team. But that third quarter really, did us good. It felt good. It felt good, man. It felt good. It's a long time. I feel like we haven't beaten the Knicks in a long, long time.
Yeah. I forever, because we traded for Porzingis, and I feel like that's terrible. They never play the Knicks well. Well, in large part because Knicks superstar and Dallas native Julius Randle, he's the kind of power forward that traditionally eats the Mavericks alive.
Yeah, that's true. Every time Randle comes to Dallas, it's like he go off for 40. And the way that first half was looking, I'm like, oh, might be that night. But third quarter, I guess he was just feeling himself a little bit. And he was taking a lot of bad. We played good defense in the third quarter, but he was taking a lot of bad shots in the third quarter, honestly. And it was it worked out well. They went, a lot of one-on-one kind of stuff, and it didn't work out. So, I love that. But it's good to see Timmy. He went through a lot of stuff. He there with a lot of the fans being in him, and it's good to see the way that third quarter worked out with Luka with 19 and Timmy with 17. It's kind of like we never really have that 1-2 punch hitting at the same time ever in a quarter. So he's like how Tatum and Brown be doing. We never really had that situation. So that was good to see. But overall, it felt good. We needed this over the weekend, because 12 o'clock loss would have been.
Well, no, we don't play again until Monday night, so you're just sort of stewing in it for 2 days.
And then you got to listen to all the commentary about, all these media people, Luka this, Luka that. He played the same way. He drew the double, he pitched it out to the guys, and they made the shots. And that's pretty much how he been playing all year, but these guys haven't been making any shots.
Yeah.
And last thing is just Timmy, just continue doing your thing shooting, but leave the playmaking to Luka, because we saw when he tried to run that fast break, that outlet pass.
It's a Benny Hill thing. Anytime Tim looks to pass, it's like he's a little too fast, a little off key. It's weird.
Yeah, but good win. Let's keep it going. Hopefully we, deal with Booker on Monday night. So Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out.
Thank you.
All right. Last but not least, my man Ben. What's going on?
Hey, Kirk. What's up?
What you got for us tonight?
I forgot about the early game, so I'm actually going back and watching it. I know the outcome and everything, and I've been listening to y'all talking about it. But and I'm going to the game on Monday, so that'll be exciting. I hope, we'll see how it goes. But I honestly got in to speak because I heard Derek Harper say something really funny on the broadcast, and I don't know if anybody else caught it when he goes right at the beginning, first couple of minutes, he's talking about Brunson, and he said something about like we were going at him with two defenders, and he's like something about no pun intended, but you got to go after the head of the snake with Brunson, and I was like, is that a big head joke? I think he made a subtle big head joke. Like, no, why did he say no pun intended? Like, I think that was like a subtle. It was so funny. Anyways, if y'all have it recorded, go back and watch it. It's pretty funny.
That's great.
But yeah, I'm excited. Last time I came on, we were talking about how obviously like Wood not playing, but the thing about Hardaway and Wood, it's hard to get them on the floor, and it's kind of more important to get Timmy going first, and then figuring out how to get Wood off as well. But they probably can't be on the floor at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's what I'll be looking for in this next game. Baby steps, I guess, at this point. So that's really it. I just came in to say that thing about Derek Harper because I like thought it was funny.
I like it. It's a good thing to go out on. All right. Yeah. Well, appreciate you coming up.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one.
All right, team. This is exactly what I'd hoped for. In and out. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy some football. I'm going to enjoy some football. Just saw here, this is just completely off key, but the Detroit Lions are activating Jameson Williams, and I'm thrilled. This is exciting. One of the fastest dudes I've ever seen. All right, everybody, have a great weekend, and we will talk Monday night. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Bye, guys.